Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks today. We are talking Monday, January 20th. I'm going to have 5 picks for you guys to lock in, all 5 of which are also plus money bangers, which is what we love to do here. So I do feel pretty comfortable saying that the splash zone is back in your life. Would appreciate it if you're watching this video, if you could like, if you could comment, if you could subscribe. Before I get into it, I just want to do a recap of how we have done. So I didn't have a video on Saturday or Sunday. I was traveling. Appreciate everybody's patience. I did give out picks, and this information all includes Friday as well, which is a really bad day. But it was a pretty good weekend overall. Friday sucked, Saturday good, Sunday very good. On the entire season, I'm not just going to have a day to recap. I'm just going to do the full season. We are up just under 19 units on the year, which is a pretty good run that we are on considering where everything started. So hopefully we can keep this run going today. Again, I'm going to have 5 more plays for you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let's get into it. Normally I have a comment that I want you to answer in the comments, but since we have day games and stuff, I don't want to mess with that. The website that you see on the screen here is Props Madness. If you want to check them out, I use them almost exclusively for my NBA betting. I put a link to Props Madness in the description of the video. If you do sign up, it would really help me out if you use the promo code MODI just to help you support the channel. But let's get into today's picks. So I actually don't have a play in the first 4 games. I have a couple leans that I can give you guys, but the first official bet that we have here is Nick Richards, and I took him on the rebounds. So I took him over 9.5 rebounds. So I actually got this at plus 120 odds. So right now, Props Madness is showing you 8.5 at minus 150. I got this at plus 120 for 10 plus. So I would check out Bet365 and check out 10 plus. The plus 100 here at DraftKings, I'm pretty confident is not the best price. And Props Madness is amazing. You just can't right now check out all lines. So 10 rebounds for Nick Richards. This is one of those situations where you cannot look at the entire season because he's on a completely new team. He is on the Phoenix Suns. He's only played 1 game with the Phoenix Suns, but in that game, he did hit the 10 rebound number. More importantly, he had 23 rebound chances and about 29 minutes of playing time. Now, he's probably going to play around 30 minutes. I don't think he's going to be one of those mid-30s kind of guys, but 23 rebound chances in his first start, collecting 11. I mean, that's even low. Like, you generally 55 to 60% hit rate on conversion to, a 55 to 60% conversion rate from rebound chances to actual rebounds. He went below that. He still had 11 rebounds. So that rebound chance number is amazing. Now, the Cavs are a really, really good team, really, really good defense. But because they have Jarrett Allen as their starting center, someone that's not going to stretch you away from the paint, someone that you can be around the paint whenever shots go up, centers can collect a lot of rebounds against the Cavaliers. As we can see, one thing that Props Madness does that I really like is they group similar players together. So we can see similar player rebound stats versus the Cavaliers. So this is only looking at players that have a rebounding profile similar to Nick Richards. As we can see, 8 of 10 have hit their over. And one of the ones that missed was Isaiah Hartenstein, who had 11 rebounds had 11 rebounds, and his over under was 11.5. And then Jakob Poeltl also missed as well. But every other rebound player went over their rebound prop by an average of almost 2 rebounds above what their over under is priced at. So not only are players consistently hitting their rebound prop against the Cavaliers, they're smoking their rebound prop against the Cavaliers. And if you just look at by position, so this doesn't look at players similar this doesn't look at players that have a similar profile to the player you're betting. It just looks at their position. 10 of the last 15 centers have hit their rebound prop over in general against the Cavaliers. And again, one of the ones that went under was Hartenstein, who had 11 on 11.5. Turner missed it, but then he cashed it the game before. And then Claxton and Valanciunas also missed it. But really, really, really good stats for a center against the Cavaliers. And again, it makes sense, right? Nick Richards is going to guard Jarrett Allen. Jarrett Allen is not going to get him away from the basket. So Nick Richards is going to be under the basket, able to collect all the rebounds. And one other stat to show you that the Cavaliers are a good matchup for center rebound props. If you go to NBA.com, you go to opponent, and you look at by the position, you can look at forward, center, guard, and you filter opponent rebounds. As you can see, the Cavs are over on the season are allowing the 3rd most rebounds per game to center. So they're a pretty good matchup for center rebound props, which is why I really like this play. That's play number 1. Again, Nick Richards, 10 plus rebounds plus 120 odds at Bet365. So the next game that we have a play here is in the Celtics versus Warriors. I actually have two bets in this one. The first one, I took Steph Curry. I took him over 5.5 rebounds. I got this at plus 125 at FanDuel. So I would go ahead and, again, I love Props Madness, but they don't pull odds on FanDuel either. FanDuel is offering over 5.5 at plus 125. So I would definitely go make sure to check out FanDuel before you place this bet. If FanDuel odds have changed, then you can get Caesars at plus 112, which I would still take. Couple reasons why I like Steph Curry rebounds. Number one, and we're going to stick with the matchup. The Warriors play the Celtics. And what we know about the Celtics is that they absolutely love to bomb deep shots, deep three-pointers, generally. And we took him over 5.5. So let's just change that number. Just have an accurate hit rate. But we'll get into why the hit rate doesn't scare me off. But the Celtics bomb three-pointers. The longer the shot, the longer the rebound, which leads to more rebounds for guards specifically. So guards, like Steph Curry, get more rebounds than their average because of the shot selection of the Boston Celtics. If you look, players similar to Steph Curry, they only have 6 players similar, but 4 of the 6 have hit their rebound prop over against the Celtics. And I actually bet Jamal Murray. His over-under was 3.5, and I bet it at 3.5, and then it went up to 4.5 for plus money. So it closed technically as an L, but I actually cashed this one. But even if you include that as an L, the 2 that lost were both by hooks. 3 on over under 3.5, 4 on an over under a 4.5. One player that you see bolded here that Props Madness shows you, one player that hit their over, Steph Curry, who had 7 rebounds. His over under was 3.5. And that was a stretch where Steph was coming back from an injury, so he didn't play a ton of minutes. I mean, he played 34. So it was his first game playing a ton of minutes. It's actually what it was. But he had 7 rebounds. More importantly, he had 7 rebound chances. So if we're just asking Steph to get, let's pretend he gets another 12 rebound chances, just get 6 of them, collect 6 of those rebounds, I'll gladly take that chances because, again, that's a 60% conversion rate. And another reason why I like it, look who is missing. Jonathan Kuminga, Draymond Green, 2 guys that do a decent job rebounding for the Warriors. Now, Green has only missed, I think, 2 games this year, or 4 games. And Steph, it's hit or miss. 7, 3, 7, 1. Now, the one, we see 13 rebound chances. That's amazing. And then this one against the Timberwolves, not great. We would obviously hope for way more than 6 rebound chances. But if you're telling me like he's either getting 7 rebounds or he's getting 13 rebound chances, that's pretty good. Another guy who's missing is Kuminga. And he's got 6 or more rebounds in 5 of 8 games without Kuminga. Again, one of them was this Timberwolves one where he had 13 rebound chances. He just missed the over he would have hooked us against the Wizards. And then he just missed it in only 30 minutes of playing time against the Nets. This is also probably when he was coming back from injury, if I remember correctly. Either way, a good history without Kuminga. He's only played 2 games without both of them, and that's what I was looking at. It's over, and then it's the one where he only had 13, or he went under, but he had 13 rebound chances. But it's a play because the Warriors have some guys ruled out, so more just general playmaking, more everything, rebounding for Steph. And the Celtics are a good matchup. Like if we go here to guard instead of center, we just look at guards. Now we can't look at point guards specifically. We're just looking at the guard position in general. We go to rebounds, the 5th most on the entire season for the Boston Celtics. And then if we go over the last 10 games, we see that over the last 10 games, the Celtics are still a good matchup. Nothing's changed. 4th most over the last 10 games. So I know Steph Curry's currently questionable. He kind of rolled his ankle a little bit in his last game against the Wizards. He said he's going to play, said that he wants to play. He had a couple days to rest it. So if he's healthy, he'll play and he'll be good to go. If he's not healthy, then we'll just get this play refunded if he doesn't play. But this is our second play, Steph Curry over 5.5 rebounds. I have another play actually in the same game. People might be sick of him, but I'm going back to Jason Tatum. I'm going back to 10 plus rebounds. Now, we last took Jason Tatum on Friday, and he did not come through, and he honestly didn't come close. It was kind of frustrating. He had 6 rebounds at halftime. He ended the game with 6 rebounds. I mean, they won that game by 27, so maybe he just let his foot off the gas. But it was pretty frustrating because 15 or 6 rebounds in the first half I thought was pretty good. But this is a play because nobody's missing on the Boston Celtics. And I've talked about this a lot on my YouTube channel. When the Celtics have their guys healthy, we see a lot more rebounding for Jason Tatum. So we look at when their whole starting lineup is healthy, he's hit over 10 or more rebounds in 9 of 11 games. And the one game he missed, he had 9 rebounds. And then the other game he missed was the last game that he played with all the guys, where he had, again, 6 rebounds in the first half and ended with 6. Now, I got this at plus 140 at Bet365. As you can see, they right now have it at 8.5. I would check Bet365, check it for the 10 plus number, because that's where I got plus 140. Hopefully that's still available by the time you guys are watching this. It was this morning when I locked it in and when I last checked. So, yeah, I mean, I wish I had more analysis, but it's really just whenever the Celtics have their guys healthy, Jason Tatum rebounds a lot more. And if we add Al Horford, it's again only missed, it's 7 of 8 games, only missed 1 time. And again, it's the same last game. So like only 1 time with their top 6 healthy has he not hit 10 rebounds. It's an important game against the Warriors. You guessed that he's probably going to be rebounding more. Now, if we look, he missed this last time these two teams played, but there was no Kristaps Porzingis, and so he only had 4 rebounds, and Jaylen Brown was missing in that game as well. The whole logic for taking Tatum when all their guys are healthy is because he doesn't need to guard the best player on the opposing offense. They can put him on a non-shooter, which enables him to, just play kind of a free safety style of defense, which Tatum is a very good help defender. It also enables him to not really have to worry about boxing his guy out or kind of fighting for the boards. He can just kind of go get the rebound and then run, like grab and go, which is valuable for someone like him when he catches a rebound, someone that can grab and go as opposed to needing to pass. Just eliminates a step. So Tatum, 10 plus boards, plus 140 odds at Bet365. And then the next up, I actually have 2 bets in this Jazz Pelicans game. They're a little bit correlated, so I hope, weirdness doesn't happen and we get screwed on both. But the first one is Walker Kessler. So I took him on the double-double. Now, you need to build this out on Bet365. You take 10 plus rebounds and 10 plus points for Walker Kessler. You get this at plus 115 odds as opposed, you get a better price, I should say. So all we need him to do is score 10 points and collect 9 rebounds. Now, I like both. The matchup for both is honestly phenomenal. We'll stick with the points. Number 1, we see that he's done it overall, scored 10 points in 15 of 24 games. He's averaging about 11 points per game. So right off the bat, you see that he, more often than not, scores 10 points. Look at all the guys that are out for the Utah Jazz. I mean, it's insane. Johnny Juzang, Clarkson, John Collins, Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen. These last 2 are important because look at the position. Forward center, forward center, forward center. So those guys are out of the lineup, which is not a ton of games. He scored 10 or more points in all 3. And Walker Kessler's been really good recently. Like if we look at his last 10 games, he's only not scored 10 points in 3 of them. And one of them, he scored 9 points in a tough matchup against the Heat. But the game before that, he had 14 against that same Heat team. Now let's look at the matchup going up against the New Orleans Pelicans. Now we don't have data off of cuts, which is frustrating. But the second most of his points come from putbacks, about 30%. Literally the worst defense in the NBA guarding putbacks, meaning they allow a ton of offensive rebounds. They're below average guarding the pick and roll man, and they're the 3rd worst defense guarding transition. Not only that, 85% of Walker Kessler's buckets come in the restricted area. The Pelicans have the 2nd worst defense in the entire NBA guarding the restricted area. And they also allow the 2nd most points in the paint. So if you look at the graph here, you see defensive rank versus DPT. That means defensive rank versus defensive play type, which in this case is putbacks. Worst defense guarding putbacks. The one right below that, D rank versus DSZ, defensive rank versus shot zone. The shot zone for Walker Kessler being the restricted area. They're the 2nd worst defense at that. The one below that, defensive rating, just overall, what's their defensive rating? 3rd worst. The one below that, and then I'll stop, PITP allowed, points in the paint allowed. 2nd worst defense in the NBA guarding points in the paint. And Walker Kessler, 98% of his points come in the paint, and they're the 2nd worst defense guarding the paint. So very, very good matchup for his points. Rebounds, also very, very good for Walker Kessler. He has collected 10 or more rebounds in 8 of his last 10 games. He missed it last game with 18 rebound chances. He missed it against the Knicks with 17 rebound chances. If you're getting those type of rebound chances, I'll gladly take you to get those type of boards. And it's a really, really good matchup. 10 of the last 15 centers have hit their rebound prop against the Pelicans. 10 of the last players, similar to Walker Kessler, have hit their rebound prop. And if we just look at centers in general, it's 11 of 15. Drew Eubanks missed it in his last start. That was a game that Walker Kessler missed. I bet Drew Eubanks. That sucked. But 11 of 15 centers, 10 of 15 similar to Walker Kessler. Very, very good. It's a very good matchup for both his points and rebounds. So why not take double-double? Again, plus 115 odds if you build it out at Bet365. And then the last bet that I have here is still on the Jazz. I'm going Isaiah Collier, and I'm taking him on the assists. So I got over 7.5 at plus 100. Doesn't look like that's available right now, but you see Bet365 has this at 6.5, and there are no odds on FanDuel. So I would make sure to check FanDuel and Bet365 8+, because I was able to get this at plus 165. Now, this is not a hit rate type of play. He's only hit it in 5 of 24 games. What have we seen? He's hit it in, what's this, like 5 of his last 6. If we look at his last 6 games, he's hit it in 5 of 6. And in the only game he missed, he had 7 assists. More importantly, 17 potential assists. And if you're wondering what's been different recently, it's the same exact thing I showed you. No Colin Sexton, no Jordan Clarkson, no Johnny Juzang. Now, Juzang's kind of been out for a little bit, so he doesn't really count. It's mainly Sexton and Clarkson. And if you look at these last 6 games, the reason why he's been doing so well from an assist perspective, there's always been somebody out. In this game, no Keontae George, no Jordan Clarkson. He had 9 assists. He had 16 potential assists. Again, we're getting 16 potential assists. He only needs to convert half of them to cash this out. I love that. Next game, another 16 potential assists. Same 3 guys missing. Keontae George, Jordan Clarkson. Next game, for whatever reason, the potential assist is glitching out, but he had 8 actual assists, so he at least had 8 potential assists, probably more. No Keontae George, no Jordan Clarkson. And then the game he missed, no Keontae George, no Lauri Markkanen, but he had 17 potential assists. Next 2 games, no Sexton, 10 assists. Now 13 potential assists, we hope for more, but we love the fact that he got 10 actual assists. And then again, 16 potential assists, no Jordan Clarkson. So with all these guys out, Isaiah Collier has been awesome from an assist perspective. And as we can see, he's had 16 or more potential assists in every single game except for 1. And if we just look at games where he's had, let's just call it 15 potential assists, which is even a little bit lower. Granted, like he's only max he's had is 17. He's only done that in 4 games, but he's hit hit 8 assists in 3 of those 4, and he's averaging 9 assists in those games. And it's a really good matchup against the Pelicans. We hover over here. We see that the Pelicans have allowed the 6th most assists per game in the entire NBA. And a lot of the ways in which you collect assists is what they're bad at. I mean, pick and roll, man, they're below average. You want to look at spot up, the 4th worst. That leads to a lot of assists to whoever's handling the ball, which with all these guys injured is Isaiah Collier. So Isaiah Collier over 7.5 assists. I absolutely love. Again, I got this at plus 100 odds. I would check Bet365 and check FanDuel to see if that plus 100 number is still out there. But that's all we got. Those are our 5 official bets for the video. Now, I do have a couple leans that I wanted to talk about. Number 1, I really liked the matchup for Anthony Edwards. He's been awesome recently. I mean, it was this game against the Celtics where he complained about being double teamed all the time. Since then, I mean, he's just been on fire. 53, 37, 32, 2-game lull, then 41, 28, 36, 28. He's been on fire. It's a good matchup for him against the Grizzlies, who allow the 7th most points to pick and roll ball handlers, 4th most in transition. They're good via isolation, but they do allow guys to foul. They also don't do a great job guarding above the break 3-pointers, which is where half of Anthony Edwards' points come from. If I was going to bet it, I would bet 30 plus. Again, you can't see alt lines on Bet360, or excuse me, on Props Madness, but you can see you get DraftKings, you can get over 25.5 at minus 125, or over 26.5 for minus money as well. If I'm betting this, I'm taking 30 plus. The reason why I didn't bet it, number 1, I hate betting on guys off of outlier performances, and he's hit at least 28 points in 4 straight games. Now, his volume has been good, and his shooting efficiency hasn't been great. I mean, 9 of 22, 12 of 21, 7 of 19, 14 of 25 is really the only one where he shot above 50%. That was against the Wizards. I mean, that they don't even count as a real defense. The reason why I didn't bet it was because I just need to know who's going to play. As of right now, Ja Morant is listed as questionable. And if Ja doesn't play, I mean, another reason why the Grizzlies are such a good matchup is because they run at the fastest pace in the NBA. They still run with Ja in the lineup, but not as fast. So if Ja plays, I might end up betting Anthony Edwards. I just wanted to wait on it. Excuse me. There are going to be some props that are good in this Hawks-Knicks game. The problem is more injury news. Karl Anthony Towns, Josh Hart are both questionable. Trae Young has great stats against the Knicks from an assist perspective. The Knicks actually aren't that good of a matchup for point guard assist props. Like they're top 10 in terms of assists allowed. And the matchup in terms of like where Trae Young racks up assists is mostly to the pick and roll man. And that's where they're a good matchup. So 4th most points to the roll man. And Trae has good stats, excuse me, against the Knicks. Over 10.5, 11 one game, 10 the other. Last year, we see 12 and 17. So he has good stats against the Knicks. I just need to know who's playing. If no Cat and no Josh Hart, it just makes the game a little bit different. And I wonder if that's going to impact the odds. So I didn't end up betting it. And then the other lean that I had was in this Clippers game was Zubac. I liked him over his points. The Bulls are just an abomination for this type of center. Center like Zubac, 3rd most points to his play type, the most to his shot zone, most points in the paint, 2nd highest pace, worst guarding the restricted area, which is his shot zone. The Clippers are coming off of a back-to-back, and they haven't listed their injury report right now. So he might miss, or Harden might miss, which would change everything because like guys get scoring a lot off the roll is going to be different if James Harden's not playing. So I didn't end up betting that. But I do have the 5 official bets for you guys, and I can just recap them real quick. It's Isaiah Collier over 7.5 assists plus 100. Walker Kessler double-double plus 115. Nick Richards 10 plus rebounds plus 120. Steph Curry over 5.5 rebounds plus 125. Jason Tatum 10 plus rebounds plus 140. And that's all we got. I appreciate everybody for watching. Again, make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. Check out the links in the description of the video to support the channel. Link to Props Madness, link to my Dub Club where I send all my bets out for $5 a month. I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to bet responsibly and have a good one.